Real Madrid arrived at Carles Tartiere under a different kind of pressure than usual. Not just the scoreline or the standings, but an undercurrent that hummed from press rooms to dressing rooms. Vinicius Jr., a player who once sprinted down the left flank with unfiltered joy, came off the bench carrying something heavier than a kit bag, the strain of stalled contract talks, an uneasy relationship with parts of the crowd, and an atmosphere that was beginning to itch. When he touched the ball, his talent still flashed, but the celebrations and reactions that followed felt charged, brittle, like glass being warmed until it might snap. The moment that crystallized the evening was almost mundane. A heated exchange aimed at a referee that could have ended in a second yellow card, a confrontation that might have cost the team a player and a result. Kylian Mbappé stepped in not as a scorer but as a stabilizer. A quick hand over his teammate's mouth, a tug back into the celebration, a tiny act that said much louder than words. That gesture has been picked apart and replayed because it shows a new layer of responsibility settling on the Frenchman's shoulders. The responsibility to hold others back from impulses that might harm the group. Images from the game captured that intervention, and commentators across outlets described Mbappé's effort to calm Vinicius after an emotional shout toward the referee. Off the field, the headlines read like a slow leak. Contract renewal talks that once felt routine have been described by Spanish media as paused, deferred until the end of the season, or stalled while both sides reassess demands and priorities. Journalists monitoring the club report that negotiations are not progressing on the timetable many expected, leaving a high-profile player approaching the final year of his deal, and a club weighing how to manage a gifted but combustible talent. That limbo changes how everything plays out. The margin for error narrows when a player's future hangs in the balance. On the grass, behaviour becomes the headline. Gestures toward rival fans, heated words with match officials, and celebrations that provoke opposing stands have all intensified scrutiny, turning what should be joyful moments into controversies that feed the media cycle. Some reporting has even pointed to incidents in which objects were thrown from the stands and to celebrations that provoked fans, a reminder that emotion on the pitch can ignite consequences off it. Club speakers and directors, according to several outlets, are privately discussing tougher approaches, from formal reprimands to exploring market options, because protecting the team's stability sometimes demands uncomfortable choices. That is the dilemma at the heart of this story. How do you balance loyalty to a homegrown, electrifying player with the club's duty to protect its image, its results, and its chemistry? For Mbappé, who arrived to lift the attack with sheer finishing power, the role has expanded. has expanded. The hand on a mouth was symbolic, a captain's reflex to prevent a spark igniting into a fire. But a single gesture doesn't mend a contract shortfall or quiet a tabloid chorus. The coming weeks will test whether internal leadership and careful management can steer a talented squad through personality clashes and commercial pressures, or whether unresolved contracts and mounting impatience will force choices that reshape the team. For now, the scene is clear: a superstar doing more than score, a teammate struggling under the twin weight of expectation and negotiation, and a club that must decide whether to soothe, sanction, or sever ties. The season ahead will reveal whether those hands, quick, human, necessary, were enough to patch a tear, or merely the first move in a saga that could change Real Madrid's year and perhaps its future.